I have a bittersweet feeling. It's bitter because everything is coming to an end, as life itself, and it's very sad that in a little while this Congress will be past, will be history. But it is also a sweet feeling because so many of you came and we had such diversity and such a nice dialogue. And we felt we all gained from this exchange and from all the wisdom that we each carry. So we wanted to end the Congress by having an overview. So we wanted to invite our keynote speakers to share with us how they experienced the Congress and what they would like to share as a general overview of what happened these 4 days for them. And I'm also going to ask Alexis Harisiadis and Katerina Zimis, my two co-travelers and co-founders and co-directors of Gymnasty and all of the Congress, also about how they feel that this event is coming to an end. Alexis.
I think I will be sharing similar feelings with Evgenia. I never expected to say this because this journey was very difficult, challenging, sometimes frustrating. So there is a sense of relief for I think everything went very well. But at the same time, I really feel sad for that this is ending. Because after the Congress started and the anxiety was less and less, I started really to enjoy the process and really listening and really getting into the essence of existential psychotherapy as presented by all my colleagues. But now we have to stop and with an anticipation for future, more in 3 or 4 years, we'll see. And I see right now familiar faces that I didn't know some of you 5 or 6 days before. So I want to say a warm thank you for being here once again.
I go back 3-4 days ago when all this began, and I again want to thank you for having stayed here for 4 days, for being here. I also feel mixed feelings of sadness, but on the other way, I'm relieved that everything went in an atmosphere, in a co-created atmosphere, because the Congress did well, because we all did well. I mean, we all did our best to communicate, to be with each other, to relate with respect, and sharing whatever each one of us wanted to share and decided to share. I thank you all, thank all the keynote speakers, and I thank you all for coming. And well, we'll meet soon, I hope, again. So, can we go this way, as we are, democratically, as we say in Gymnasty? When nobody wants to participate, we say, well, we start in a circle, so now we do it this way, okay? Our students are laughing, but they know.
Well, first of all, I just wanted to thank everybody here for your warmth. I think that's the main feeling I take away from this conference, the warmth of people. And with that, also a sense of connection and disconnection. Some years ago, I attended a conference in Australia that was called A Chorus of Voices. And this felt to me like a chorus of existential voices. Disputing, disagreeing, agreeing, altering, affecting, but in harmony, an underlying harmony beneath them. I was also really positively struck by the youth of this conference, that there are so many here who are, to my old eyes, really young people. And you are the important future of any kind of existential process or whatever. And it's brave of you to be part of it, because the way psychotherapy across the world is going, it does not hold a great deal of appreciation for the ideas and the approaches that we've all been discussing. Just one very quick final thing. Just today, at one of the talks in this room, Yaki Martinez suddenly had this moment of illumination where he talked about suddenly being overwhelmed by a Bob Dylan song. So, following his footsteps, let me give you a couple of very quick lines that try to capture my feeling for this conference. I'll see you in the stars above, in the tall grass, in the ones you love. You're going to make me lonesome when you go. Thank you.
Nothing like a shout out to Bob Dylan and Ernesto Yaki for bringing Bob here. I do feel Bob's spirit very much. And you speaking of the youth, this is a new Dylan-esque situation I'm feeling, I'm sensing. I too am very warmed and struck by the energy we have here, both youthful and aging. We have some pretty energetic seniors around as well who tune into the youth pretty well, I'd say. So altogether, it's a marvelous coming together of our, I will say, movement. I do think we have begun, we've renewed an existential movement. This conference could be the throwing down of the gauntlet for that, and how desperately we need our existential humanistic principles to be translated on the ground, in the streets, to especially people in underserved areas, in a way that's affordable and accessible, and that's much more visible. Also in media, to the degree we can do that without corrupting ourselves. I think it can be done, at least that's my quixotic hope. And I just, by closing, I would say, I think perhaps one of the most important psychological issues that our world needs today is what I would call emotionally restorative relationships. And I think all of you are in a prime position to offer that not only at the individual level, but at the community level. And throughout the world to the degree you can. There's just so much impoverishment, it seems to me, of relationships, and that is the basic reason for the political polarization, the divisiveness, the bigotry, the violence, basically the overcompensations for not being met as human beings, not being seen and heard. And that's a lot of what I feel we can really bring. We really specialize in. So thank you. Thank you so much.
Do you remember the voting in Buenos Aires when we came across that Athens could be a choice for us, and what an overwhelming voting we had, and I thought, gee, what these persons represent is pure existential courage. Really, thank you so much for undergoing this risk and all this work and the existential courage. I really looked forward to come to Athens. For me it is with my Greek heart, with my Greek breathing, I breathed the Greek culture since my early adulthood, with 6 years of classical Greek in the gymnasium and so, and feel very related to Greece. So it was a great stimulation for me to reconnect with my own youth and to bring abroad these feelings and the gratitude to this country, to this culture, which was really the cradle for European culture and democracy. And for this gratitude I want to express in this moment here, and for your, on the basis of your courage that we could have it here. So this is for me personally very moving, and more than this, the most beautiful for me is to just encounter people and to see and to speak, and I would have liked to speak much more. I would have liked to do what the ancients did, the peripathetics, to walk along the agora and to speak and to discuss, and to discuss, to dialogue, but also to discuss different visions, opinions, to undergo a meiotic process, that I can develop more my own thoughts and maybe be helpful for the meiotic process in the other. I would have loved to do a bit more here, but the overwhelming feeling is to have so many interested people, young people, not so young people, but still people in much bigger, and to get inspired by many ideas and many different thoughts. I must admit, I have been in so many congresses that I don't take part in all presentations, and something I know already, and something, this is also a sign of becoming older. I was very eager to be present in all presentations when I was younger, but nowadays I take it with more time and with
slowly. This is also comfortable, and we have a very nice environment where I could enjoy the time in between. And so altogether it was a holistic, also Greek word, a holistic experience, and I'm very grateful for that, and thank you for having been us here, having been able to be here.
Right, this is my clan. I feel at home with you guys. I feel almost too at home with you guys. It's been a very comfortable, wonderful few days. It really has. I feel we have communicated really well. I feel we have collaborated really well. I feel we have now created a community that I feel elated, really, and incredibly privileged to be part of. And it is an incredible, precious thing to know that we've got that, and that we've got the next Congress to look forward to, and hopefully the next one after that, and I hope we'll be discussing that in a bit. Because we can't do without that anymore. Communication, community, collaboration. But by Jove, we are ready for another C. We are ready for a bit more challenge, guys. It's too comfortable. We have got to remember that existential therapy is also a political therapy and a social therapy. And we have got to start speaking up about our role in tackling these problems in the world and not just talking about them. We know so much, we understand it so well, we can do more. We can build on this community, we can build on this comprehension, on our expertise. We need to start taking position on these big problems, on what's happening in the world, on wars, on people living in poverty, on the way in which people relate to each other that is not good enough, on the way in which we are all oppressed by bullies who tell us how we should behave and how we shouldn't behave, instead of working together towards creating a better kind of civilization around the world. So I am absolutely delighted that a few hours ago we were able to meet with many of the people who have spoken at this conference, who have all agreed to be on a board of a new organization called the Existential Movement, which will take it as its task to bring our ideas to a wider public without the jargon, without the complications, in a way that is usable for people. And we are talking about doing that by talking to politicians as well, and by talking to journalists and to artists and musicians, and to see what we can grow from this very fertile ground.
Whoa, number up. Andy, I feel like, oh my God, she's the sun and I'm the moon. So,
we need both.
I know we need both. So I just want to thank you three so much for doing this. This has been life-changing for me. It really has been I've been so much alone in these last 3 years, and to come here and to feel the energy and the humor, that was really struck me. Whenever I was doing something with folks, there was just so much laughter and joy. Even though there's so much suffering and pain in a human existence, and it cannot be avoided, but there's so much vitality in the laughter, in the being easy and not trying to be important, just being ourselves with one another. And that was just so lovely. And what Ernesto said was about the youth was really also very striking to me. And the other thing well, you're laughing, now I don't know what you're laughing at, usually I do. So, but the other thing was just so many people I've seen here, and I keep seeing, and I want to know you, and I can't. You know, I've only got one freaking body and one freaking time, you know, and there's so many people that I've seen, and I thought, oh, I'd like to talk with that person. People that have talked to me, and I'd like to talk more. So there's a beginning of a lot of intimacy. For me, there's a sense of that, and three years is a long way to wait to renew it. So, by the way, my email is drerikcraig@aol.com. To write. When I give people that AOL.com, most people in Europe don't even know what it is, but in America I say it's drerikcraig@dinosaur.com. So it's such an old email, but at least I share it with a lot of psychoanalysts in America, like Nancy McWilliams, for example, she uses AOL. But really the people, and then some people that I've known over the years, and we never even got a chance to talk. And like Remus, I think, is sitting back there from Lithuania. And I really hope we do before this whole thing is over. But there are many of you that I feel like, oh, we just never got a chance to spend time with one another. And wonderful faces like your face, I keep seeing over. I feel like I know you from somewhere, but you're just always so present. And there's just so much of that presence, alive presence, vital presence. And the other thing that Ernesto said about the Dylan song is, I'm not ready to deal with that. I'm going to be here. No, I am, but I just am feeling it in a very different way. I'm glad you said it. I'm really glad you said it, because my sense was, I want to be with everybody I can be until it's time to go. Yeah, it's like Zorba about, I want to live, and as if every minute was my last, and just want to stay totally present and alive and keep this life going until suddenly you're gone. And I know that moment will come sometime on Monday. And, but I ain't paying any attention to it. I'm just going to enjoy being with you. And thank you so much for your generosity of spirit. Really, just been huge.
Bueno, voy a hablar en mi idioma. Voy a hablar desde mi corazón, desde mi emoción y no desde la razón. Porque...
I'm going to translate. Well, she's going to speak in her language, and she says she's going to speak from her heart.
Perdí el hilo ahora de lo que quería decir. Para mí es mucho más emocionante en un congreso donde todos hablan en inglés.
It's much more exciting for me to be here in a congress where everyone speaks English.
Tener este lugar donde yo pueda hablar en mi propio idioma.
Have this space where I can speak my own language.
Primero de todo, quiero agradecer a los tres organizadores por tan fantástico encuentro.
I'd like to thank the 3 organizers for such a wonderful event.
Hace un rato, en la reunión que tuvimos con Emmy por el movimiento existencial que ella contó, hace un rato, cuando estuvimos en la reunión con Emmy,
When we were in the reunion with Emmy
para el movimiento existencial,
for the existential movement,
dije que yo era existencial desde que nací.
I said I was an existentialist since I was born.
Porque sin saber que lo era, porque todo lo vivía desde el corazón, desde los sentimientos, desde las preocupaciones existenciales, desde qué significaba la angustia, la muerte, desde pequeña.
Without knowing it, I experienced everything from an existential point of view, anguish, the ideas of death and etc.
Luego me encontré en la Facultad de Psicología con una cátedra que enseñaba existencialismo.
I then came upon a course in university that taught existential theory.
Argentina es un país con mayoría psicoanalítica.
Argentina is a country with the majority of psychoanalytical inclination.
Entonces éramos un pequeño grupo que empezábamos a tener formación existencial.
So we're a small group that started to have existential education.
Por suerte este grupo fue creciendo, nos fuimos uniendo con Latinoamérica.
This group started growing and started joining with Latin America.
Ahora tenemos la Asociación Latinoamericana de Psicoterapia Existencial.
Now we have the ALPE.
Alfried.
Yeah, let's say Latin American Existential Association.
Estoy muy agradecida a Emmy por habernos dado este lugar en el primer Congreso Mundial, que más que nunca había sido siquiera un sueño.
I'd like to thank Emmy for giving us this space, which is beyond the dream.
Y este sueño se convirtió en realidad en el año 2015.
In 2015, this dream became true.
Tuvimos la suerte de hacer el segundo Congreso Mundial en Buenos Aires, con muchos de ustedes que estuvieron presentes y otros no.
We had the chance to make the second World Existential Congress with many of you, and many don't.
Para mí, Argentina es un país muy lejano con respecto a Europa, con respecto a Estados Unidos, con respecto a las grandes potencias.
For me, Argentina is a very far away country, far away from the big countries.
Y entonces formar parte del mundo nos hace sentir una nueva integración.
Being part of this gives us the chance to feel part of all of this.
Y siempre tenemos algún argentino que nos salva y nos habla en otro idioma.
We have always one Argentinian that can speak English and saves us.
Muchas gracias a todos, muchas gracias a los representantes del existencialismo en el mundo, muchas gracias a ustedes por estar presentes y muchas gracias a vos.
Well, thank for all the representatives of existentialism. Thank all of you for being here.
Y hasta el próximo encuentro.
And until our next meeting.
First of all, I would like to thank Ernesto Spinelli, Kirk, Schneider, Alfried Langle, and Emmy van Deurzen, Erik, Craig, and Suzana Signiorelli for accepting our invitation to be keynote speakers and for giving us all these wonderful lectures, but also all of our esteemed colleagues that joined us from all over the world. It has been really an honor to host all of you in Athens. I hope you feel as the chills that I feel right now, saying all of that. I would also like to thank our two guardian angels, Maria Stoimenu and Vicky Papadimitriou from symboli. Without them, of course, I want to thank all of our trainers and trainees for being here and being so supportive. I cannot,
Volunteers.
of course, all of our volunteers who offered their work trying to make this Congress as good as possible.
We want also to thank our technical support.
Yes.
They were great. Now it's our time to pass the
Torch.
torch.
Okay, yes. Our technical support has been amazing. I think the sound was so good. I wasn't expecting it in such a large room that we would be able to have such good sound. And of course, I want to thank Katerina and Alexis for being with me all these years and for helping, and especially Alexis, because Katerina and myself, as was mentioned, we just came up with this idea of hosting this conference, and without asking poor Alexis.
Oops. So, yeah, can I share?
This was a crime made by two. So I asked her, why don't you propose? And she said, why not?
Two girls.
Shouldn't we ask Alexis? We said, both of us said, we said, no, we will convince him. So we came with the great news. And Alexis froze. He's a realistic one. But then we said, come on, it's not difficult. Well, here we are. A little bit crazy, a little nervous.
Everything worked out. So But I do want to share this moment when Katerina said, well, why don't we propose that we do the next conference in Athens? And I said, why not? And then we went up on stage. Everybody had prepared something. We hadn't prepared anything. We just went like that. And I remember myself saying, maybe that was a convincing argument for the people to vote for us. That, you know, nobody expected that we would be able to run the Olympic Games. And we did. So, go to the Congress. It's so wonderful that we took that risk. And a little present for all of you to remember this event. And of course, we also want, except of embracing our roots, to look forward to the future. So we want to ask Louis Hoffman and Nathaniel Grander to come up to talk to us about the next Congress. in Buenos Aires, Luis and Daniel had made such a nice and elaborate presentation that they presented. And we went in like, on the side. So it was decided that the third Congress is going to be in Athens and the fourth Congress is going to be in Colorado Springs. In Denver. Okay. But Colorado Springs are so nice. Okay, so the fourth Congress is going to be in the United States in Denver. But we have also had a discussion about doing it in 3 years instead of 4. Because they're all getting
Real quickly, before we talk about the next World Congress, we did want to honor someone that passed away during this Congress. Some of you may know Tom Greening. Tom Greening was a servant of existential psychology for many years, 34 years as the editor of the Journal of Humanistic Psychology. He has likely edited many of your works. And a longtime faculty member at Saybrook University, and we found out that he passed away 2 mornings ago. So we wanted to just take a moment. Tom, in addition to being a wonderful psychologist, a human being, and friend, he also was a poet. And his last book that he published was called Into the Void, An Existential Psychologist Faces Death Through Poetry. And so what I'd like to do is to read the last poem from this book, and then we can maybe have a moment of silence before we move on to talking about the next Congress. This is called How I Want to Die. With no great final drama, here's how I want to die. Some warm and cozy evening, I'll simply say goodbye. Professing in my garden, one cool and rainy day, the world will hardly notice that I have slipped away. Those roses will still blossom. The worms do what they do. I hope that what I've planted will bring delight to you.
Can we please take a moment of silence? Thank you. Technology, I think Tom would have appreciated that. In 2019, at the second Existential Congress, I was somewhat saddened that after putting in so much work for the proposal for the next Congress, that Greece had won. and even though I was sad and somewhat disappointed, paradoxically I was somewhat happy in that I get to travel to Greece for the next one. And I thought, well, how can I even afford to even go to Greece? Or so many questions were in my mind. But now that I'm here, I am so glad that we did not win in 2019 and that we are here in Greece. And so I'm so very happy to be here and all of the work that you put in, and just very happy. And that happiness spills over into my excitement for the next Existential Congress. We are hosting it, the Rocky Mountain Humanistic Counseling and Psychological Association, and it will be in my lovely neck of the woods, Denver, Colorado. And so we are very happy. We hope to see everybody in this room, everybody in here today. We hope to see you again in 3 years at the 4th Existential World Congress.
As we're first want to thank you for this has been an amazing conference, and also maybe a little bit frustrated that the 3 previous set the bar so high that there's a lot of pressure on us now. But this truly was just an amazing experience, and we think we've got a great team to be able to continue the spirit of what's going. We have already started the planning some. Up on the screens back there in the front, I guess you don't get to see this until you walk out maybe, but there is a QR code. We have a website up and some social media set up so that you can start following and planning and coming to Denver in 3 years. And it has the dates on there, which I'm not going to remember off the top of my head, but it's the first Wednesday through Saturday in June that we'll be having in Denver, Colorado. We're very excited to host you. We're also going to plan some pre and post-conference events that allow for you to enjoy what we think is really one of the most beautiful places in the world, which is Colorado. So we've got someone that is going to do a pre-conference on equine therapy with horses, and we've got someone that is going to plan some adventures if you want to go up hiking into the amazing Colorado mountains. But we hope that you will come and join us. We would love to have a turnout like this. It's amazing the turnout that we've had this year. And again, just want to thank everyone who has set the path for us and who has offered to support us as we continue to go forward. And if you'd like to be part sponsoring in other ways involved, please reach out to us. Our emails are up on I guess they're not on the slide, but you can find our emails. We'll get them to you, and would love to have you involved. So we're relieved too that everyone clapped when it was said 3 years. So that's a good thing. So we look forward to seeing you and hosting you in 3 years in beautiful Colorado. So we'll see you